I've been handling sound for theater for a few years now, and one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy is not getting a mic plot within a reasonable amount of time. Sometimes directors don't know who they want in all their songs, or if actors need to share packs, they don't know the best way to share the packs, and it just delays getting the mic plot. So I've been trying to figure out a more efficient way to create mic plots. I first created MicPlotMaster about a year ago, and after testing it on a few different productions, I realized it was lacking a lot of features. So I've been rebuilding the application, and I've tested it with the new version through a few productions, and now I'm ready for people to start using it in the real world. MicPlotMaster makes it easy to create scenes with all the characters, assign the actors to those scenes, and then determine the best way to share a microphone. It also allows you to save your progress at any given time so you can come back to it later if need be. So to start out, we go to the Scenes tab, and this is where we create our scenes and add the characters to those scenes. Any character who requires a microphone within a scene should be added to that scene. So to create a scene, in the lower left, we're going to click the Add Scene button, and that's going to create our scene. And the information we put in here for scene name and page number, that's completely arbitrary to the person who's creating the mic plot. So they can create scenes however they want. So we'll just call this beginning, and we'll say it goes from pages 1 to 5. And you'll notice on the left-hand side in our list of scenes, it's labeled intermission. Any scene without characters is going to be labeled as an intermission scene. So if you notice suddenly that you have way more intermission scenes than you should, that's because you didn't add any characters to that scene, and you want to go back and do that. So to add a character, we're going to click the Add New Character button down at the bottom, and we're going to say that John is in this scene. So we see that John's here now. He's added to the All Characters list with a check mark, and he's listed in the Characters in Scene box on the right-hand side. We start to add more characters in here. You might end up with well over 100 characters in the All Characters list. It's going to be very hard to see what characters you have in a particular scene. So the Characters in Scene box will only list the ones who have the check mark next to them. If we add a second scene, and we'll just leave it as scene 2, and we'll call it pages 5 to 10, we got John here, but we don't want John in this scene, so we're going to add a new character, and we'll call that character Joe. Now, Joe is in here, selected, and John is unselected, so in the characters and scene box, we only see Joe. If we go back to the first scene beginning, we see Joe is now in here with John in the all characters box, but because he's unchecked, he is not in the characters and scene box. If we check Joe, he shows up in the characters and scene box. If we uncheck Joe, he disappears. But honestly, I don't want to do all this manually. I have actually created a CSV file that I can import. And on the left-hand side here, the left column is all of the different character names. In the top row, it is the scene names for each scene. And in the second row, it's the page numbers for those particular scenes. And if we look at any corresponding box with an X in it, that character has lines in that scene, thus they need a microphone in that particular scene. So we minimize this. If you are unsure how to create that file, add a couple of scenes in here. Then you can click this Download Character Scene CSV button, and you can create your own file, and it will only include the first couple of scenes that you've created, but it'll give you an idea of where the header goes for that, or the scene name goes, where the page numbers go, where the character names go, and then just put X's where you need to put them, and it's a little bit easier if you have that template to go by. But if I come up here, and we'll just say new project so I can start over, and I click import character scene list, and I got to go back to my demo CSVs here, and we got our character scene list here. We have all of these scenes just magically imported. And that is how you add the scenes. The nice part about this, you can do all of this before you ever hold an audition, before you ever cast anybody to the show. All of this can be done. All right, once you have the scenes all set up, now we can go to the cast tab and start adding actors to the different characters. So for the fish, let's say we want to create the actor Steve here. So once we enter Steve here, we have a drop down for all the other actors, and we can select Steve from that drop down. So you don't have to manually type in if you're using the same actor more than once, you can just use the drop down, not manually type it in. But I don't want to manually type all of this in. And I mentioned previously that you could essentially build all of the scenes, and then you could go in and add the actors during the casting process to a different CSV file. So once we're here, you can actually click the download character actor CSV, and it is going to create a CSV file with the characters and this first row for character and actor. And then you're going through the casting process, you've added all the actors to their parts. You can go in here and add all of the actors in the CSV file and save it. And then we come back in here and we're going to say import actor list CSV, and we will import this. It always defaults back to the Scenes tab, but if we click back to the Cast tab, we're going to see that all of the actors that were in that CSV have been added to this sheet. Now, once you've cast the show, if it's a musical, you might want to go back to the songs and add additional singers. This is the perfect time to do that. Just go back to the Scenes tab, and we can find a song here, and let's say we want to add all of these different people to that song. So we can do that. And then at any point, you can also click save, and you can save your file, and it's going to save as this npm2 file type. But if you want to come back to it, you can come back and you can open a project, and it will, you'll load that same file. It'll bring everything back the way that you left it. But this is how you add the characters or the actors to the characters. And you do that all in the Cast tab. All right, so next it's time to assign the microphones. We start by telling the system how many microphones we actually have. It defaults to 24 microphones, but you can change this to match whatever you have. And we can also tell it the maximum number of actors that we want sharing a single pack. Again, this defaults to 2, but we can change this to whatever we want. Now, in this setup, we have 32 people. So let's say we give a combination up here where the math doesn't work. For example, if we set the available microphones to 15, and we want to have a max shares per mic of 2, then we click the manually assign microphones. It's going to tell us here, it's tight. 32 actors need microphones, 15 microphones are available. If we're doing 2 actors per mic, it's not going to be possible. So there's some things that we can do here to try to fix that. But also if we switch over here and say that we want 3 max shares per mic, this actually passes the check. So that allows us to then do this. But we want to go with 2 microphones, or 2 max sharers per mic and 24 microphones. Now, some soundboards only allow a microphone to be patched to a single channel. In that situation, you might need to be a bit more cautious of who shares a pack. You might want them to have a similar vocal tone so that you can find a happy medium with the EQ on the pack so both actors sound good. Unfortunately, the system doesn't know what the actors sound like, so it's not possible for it to tell you the best way to share packs. That's where the manually assign microphones button comes in. We've already selected that, and the first thing you see on the list is the compatible actors group. This is every combination of 2 actors who are never in the same scene together. This helps give an idea of who these people can share with. And then in the middle here, we have the forced solo actors. This is the list of actors who are not able to share with anybody because they share a scene with every other actor in the show at least once. But if we go over to the Mic Groups tab, this is where we actually assign the actors. In this situation, we said we could share a pack with up to 2 people. We see actors 1 and actor 2 for each mic pack listed. And if we click the drop down for actor 1 and mic 1, let's say we want to assign this to Bruce Banner. Now if we come over here to actor 2 for mic 1, it's only going to list those people that Bruce Banner never shares a scene with. So let's select Cassie Lang here. Now if we go to mic 2, actor 1, we look around, hey, Bruce Banner's not here because Bruce Banner has already been assigned. You'll notice over here on the right, we have the unassigned actors list and the assigned actors list, or the hidden actors list, because they're already assigned. So here, let's say we want Jean Grey to be actor 1 on Mike 2, but let's say we really want Bruce Banner to be actor 2 on Mike 2. If we come over here, we can select allow actors on multiple microphones, and we'll say override allow selecting actors already signed to another mic. So now we can come back here and Bruce Banner is here. But that is going to create a conflict. So if we go over to the timeline tab, we can actually see our conflicts. And the timeline shows every actor in every scene for which they are assigned a microphone. So we've only assigned microphones to a few people, so that's all that we're going to see here. If the cell is green, that indicates that that is the first scene where that actor has a microphone. They have to make sure they get the microphone before that scene. If the cell is red, that means that it's the last scene that that actor has that microphone before they have to hand it off to somebody else. If the cell is yellow, that indicates that there's only a single scene where that actor has that microphone. So they need to obtain that microphone before that scene and get rid of it after that scene. Now, if we right-click on any of the cells with Bruce Banner, we can select his name. And do we want to select the mic for the scene, or do we want to select the block for the scene? For this scene, we're going to say we want mic 1, and it's going to take him off of mic 2 in that scene. Now, we're going to come here, and we're going to say select the block for the scene. And it's actually going to go from the green box to the red box, and it's going to bring all of these two scenes back down to mic 2 for Bruce Banner. So that's how you use this, and that's how you eliminate the conflicts. And you may never actually have to use this part of it, but it's there if you ever need it. And once you've assigned all the microphones, you are ready to move on. But let's say you're using a soundboard that allows you to send your microphones to multiple channels. In that situation, you really don't have to worry about sharing microphones with people who have similar voices. You just need to find a way to share the microphones that's going to allow them to swap when necessary. That's the beauty of the Auto Assign Microphones button. If we click the Auto Assign Microphones button, it is going to try to create a mic plot that allows at least one scene before and after that actor is using it, so they have time to swap with another actor. And sometimes that's not possible. And it's going to, if it's not possible, going to pop up with this message saying the mic plan was generated, but it contains adjacent risky swaps. So, and it tells us that in this situation, microphones 11, 12, and 24 are risky. And if we come over, well, first to the mic assignments tab, this is going to list every microphone and who is sharing it. But if the share is in red, that is a risky swap, at least at some point. If we come over to the mic explanation tab, those risky swaps are going to be up at the top, and it's going to tell us exactly what scene is the problem for that microphone. Now, if we come over here to the timeline, it's going to list all of the actors, and again, it's using that same green, red, yellow color coding. But if there's a triangle in it, in the square, that means that's a risky swap, because Kate Bishop may not have much time to switch with Tony Stark. Carol Danvers may not have much time to switch with Clark Kent. So let's, for grins, we can move Clark Kent to... It looks like mic 14 is open in that scene. There's nobody before or after. So we'll move Clark Kent there. And we can move Tony Stark to mic 7. And you might have noticed that Sam Wilson immediately turned red. Sam Wilson was not red before, but because we added Tony Stark here, that changed Sam Wilson. And I know there's at least one more. So Selena Kyle, we want to move this to where there's 2 open spots. So that looks like mic 20 might be a good spot for Selena Kyle. And we're going to move the entire block here. And now there are no more conflicts or risky swaps. All of them have at least one scene in between. Now let's look at the grouping tab. The grouping tab allows us to group actors together so that they are near each other in mic order. By default, the system is going to assign microphones based on the number of scenes that actor has lines. So the person who has lines in the most scenes is going to be on mic number 1, and if we're using 24 microphones, the person with the least number of lines and the least number of scenes is going to be on mic 24. But let's say we want to add some groups here. We can group by actor or by character. If you know the actors, go that way. I think it'd be easier to go by character. And we can then select the drop down for the group, and there is a default group here called leads. Any actor who is in the leads group is automatically going to move to the top of the list as far as microphone order goes. And within the group, it's going to be based on the individual actors and how many scenes that actor has a microphone. And if we want to add an additional group, let's say we want to add the group fish. And we'll come back up to the top here, and we're going to add some fish to the fish group. And within each additional group, the groups are going to be in order based on the number of scenes by which all of the actors combined in that group have a microphone. And if an actor is in multiple groups, which, especially if we're doing this by character, an actor could end up in multiple groups because they're assigned to multiple characters, their mic order is going to be determined by whichever character they have the most lines with. So if you're a fish and you're a lead, you're going to be in the leads by default. You're always in the leads by default. But if we add a group called supporting leads, that doesn't get the same leads role or same leads rules. So we'll add the mayor of Bikini Bottom to the supporting leads. And so if they're a fish and a supporting lead, whichever of those characters has the most lines, that's the group that they are going to be in mic order with. If the actor is not assigned to any groups at all, there is an unseen, unassigned group, and they all end up at the bottom of the list after all of the groups. But that's how groups are done, and if you want to be able to group actors together in mic order, that's how you would do it. And once we've completed all this and we're ready to go, we can go to the Final Output Preview tab. This tab is going to list all of the final microphone numbers after we've made any adjustments to the timeline and we've added any groups to the mix. The real thing we need here is the Export Excel Workbook button, and if we click that, it's going to prompt us to save an Excel spreadsheet. And I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again. But if we come here, we've got the spreadsheet with 4 tabs on it, and the first tab is the mic plot tab. This is going to show every mic pack down the left, and then every scene with page numbers across the top, and a color-coded guide of who is on each microphone for every scene. This uses the same green, red, yellow color scheme as the timeline tab in the app. And the next tab is going to be the sharing tab. This is going to list every mic pack along with every cast member who uses the mic pack so they can quickly see who they share with each pack. And the third tab is the mic list tab. This is going to list the wire or the lavalier number, the pack number, and the cast member who is assigned to that lavalier and pack combination. I personally like to know the lavalier number because if I'm using a board that allows me to assign the same pack to multiple channels, I assign those channels based on the lavalier instead of the pack number. I like to hang these first 3 spreadsheets by the mic table so the cast can easily see who they're sharing with and when they need to swap. But the final tab is more for the sound engineer. It lists every wire number, every cast member, and every mic pack, and it gives a breakdown of every single scene where the actor is needed. Again, if I'm assigning actors to the board based on the lavalier number, this is going to give me a different and possibly more complete view of the original mic plot tab. But that's it. If it's something you think might benefit you, feel free to use it. I'll put the link in the description. There's also, this is a Windows executable, so there's also a Python script that you can run that will also be at the link. The Windows executable might not work for you, or if you're on, say, a Linux system or an iOS system, the Python script would probably be better for you. But yeah, if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it. Thanks a lot.